Good evening, Music Multiverse listeners. This is Beyond Your Radio, and welcome to another That's Your Band Name, episode 7. Happy 4th of July to everyone, the panelists tonight. Tonight, Alex Kaluzny joins us, Jeff Young, Chef Jeff, and the impeccable Susan Kuligowski, lurking in the darkness. How is everyone? Are we all good?
We are all great.
I really wish Sheffrey would have made an appearance in the opening intro there, because that's coined now as a new one.
Jeffrey. That's where
Jeffrey.
Sheffrey just works too well.
It's been reused many times.
I wouldn't doubt it. So this show, obviously, just to go over the rules a little bit, this show allows our panelists to find weird, crazy, wacky band names, whether they were popular or unknown, whether they made a splash with the band name or completely confounded their success. Basically, there's no rules to this show, so anybody does whatever the hell they want and comes up with anything they want. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos we do, and like and comment at the end so I know you're out there and you have an opinion. So based on tonight's panel, we're going to go Alex first, then Jeff Young, then Sue, then Jeffrey, and then I'll go next. We're each going to do 3 band names. And Alex, you can kick us off with your first one.
We got, staying on my theme tonight to kick us off, the Justified Ancients of Mumu, better known as the KLF.
Can you please spell that?
C A and a T. No, so I had a lot of fun trying to understand the entire story of the KLF, which Mark was able to piece together with me pre-show. He's heard of them. I did not realize the Justified Ancients of Mumu had turned into them. Upon my dad's passing, going through his record collection, hearing that he had a few rare records of theirs, which I'm still trying to sort out. So if you're a record buff, I'd love to walk through with any of these with you.
Do it.
But to start with, we'll go with Shag Times. So we have a lot of that. To go with a lot of KLF records. And when I say a lot, I mean we are digging through piles and piles and piles and piles, and we're still going, and we're finally done. So
Nice.
if anyone would ever like to help me sort through those, I ask our viewers, please let us know in the comments. Shameless plug. This band is known for, it's a 2-person band, known for very weird quips that they've done in their history. One of which would be burning $1 million, which one of said members' sons is not entirely too happy about. And needless to say, neither would I be if I found out that was something I could just burn one day. Yeah, the band was started on a whim with Drummond. Sorry, I find the names here. Bill Drummond wanting to make a hip hop record, and needless to say, they've lasted the test of time to the point that in 2021 they've even made a revival of putting out some pre-release recorded songs. So things that weren't out before, and I would love to see if in that collection somewhere that if I have a sampled ABBA song that led to a legal showdown, that they had to get rid of some of those items. I'm sure there's still probably more records in there. I was digging through in a position that makes me need a chiropractor to have to pull the rest of those out. So my first one, and probably the most fun name of the show, the Justified Ancients of Mumu.
Well,
Man,
we'll
that's
see.
fun to say.
There are people that are going to challenge you tonight. Everyone's brought their big guns. So with that, we'll let Jeff Young take us to the next one.
Mark, look at your text really quick.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, boss.
So the band name I'm talking about first is called The Holy Shits. This band is basically the name used by the Foo Fighters whenever they have a secret show or a low-key show to play.
Ah,
Because it's actually a pretty good name, because let's face it, if you heard, Foo Fighters was playing at the show place tonight, you'd be like, holy shit. It was in promotion of their 8th studio album that they first did this, Sonic Highway. They actually played as the Holy Shits in the US at Firefly Festival and 3 small UK gigs. So if you ever see the Holy Shits are in town, it's the Foo Fighters.
We will be on the lookout for that. And
that goes with clever band names, like my buddy's cover band, which is called The Plagiarists.
Yeah, the only fake band I've ever seen with Mark was Meet the Creeper.
Rob Zombie. So what happens is sometimes you can't advertise your show when you're on like Ozfest or something like that. So these bands do this. They'll play gigs in between. We were fortunate to do that once. Love to do it again. Small club without any pyrotechnics and that. It's just raw, cool.
I love the idea of it. The tough part is being in the right place, right time to notice it or hear about it or whatnot. So
Yeah, that was
Well,
all Mark. Mark got that one. I didn't have anything to do with it. He just told me, and I showed up.
the closest I've ever come to that is a secret venue show where you had to piece together clues to find out where someone was playing, and it was at Hoyt Lake, and it was Andrew McMahon,
Oh, in the wilderness.
Oh, that's neat.
and it was just
Hoyt
him
Lake,
on
playing in the
piano with
wilderness.
one
Makes
person.
sense.
It was just him with one of his band members.
I would say that kind of thing is kind of lost now because there's no paper. I used to look through the Gusto, and flip through, and we'd get to that page. Now, just so you know, like on, let's see, that's on Twitter. One of the people I follow on Twitter from Canada actually shows old newspaper clippings, and this one from this week was back from 1990, and it showed you all the bands that were playing around Toronto, and it was like the Tea Party, 5440, Bare Naked Ladies were playing at a small club. It was the 80s.
That's pretty
Like
sweet.
80. Yeah, there were just a ton of them. Pretty cool. And like Sheryl Crow was playing one of the clubs. So yeah,
The good old days.
the good old days. Let's see, that puts us to Sue.
So, all right. So I'm not really too familiar with these bands. I just was kind of doing some research to see what was out there, so I could maybe listen to something new or different. The first one is Bikini Kill.
True.
And what's that?
True.
True. It's an all-female punk band. They were around in the 80s, formed in Olympia, Washington in October of 1990. They got their name from a 1967 B movie called The Million Eyes of Sumeru. And they just kind of went with it. How to describe it? Well, okay, I guess they're kind of noted to be like the pioneers of the Riot Girl movement, girl, GRRL. So they've got songs. I can't. Here's the thing tonight. I went with 3 female bands, and like I can't name a lot of their songs because they're really rude. But like they have
You
songs
can.
like Rebel Girl, Feels Blind, and Double Dare You. I like them. They have like a solid sound. It's kind of like it's like a messy kind of, I don't know. I guess it's punkish. I didn't really listen to a lot of punk, to be quite honest with you, but it comes
True.
together, it works, and it's just something to listen to. if you're into that thing, I guess.
So some of those other songs that Sue wouldn't mention because she doesn't have a potty
Oh,
mouth would be
no.
"Suck My Left One,"
Yeah, yeah.
"Anti-Pleasure Dissertation." I like something that
Yeah.
starts with an F and ends in a G. So that gives you any idea of the punk to this band. You got it. So
But they're good. They're good. Like I
yeah,
said, they're
I've listened to several songs off of one album. I can't think of which one.
yeah, the
I think it's
album
got like
titles are
a
pretty interesting too.
yes, those. Yeah. Chef Jeffrey.
Anyway, so I decided to change it up. The first few of these we did, I wanted to pick bands with unique names, but I had seen them. Well, I had a week with plenty of time on my hands, so I did some heavy research on just bizarre names. So I come up with 3 bands today with very bizarre names. But one thing they have in common, they're all terrible. Absolutely terrible.
The bands or the names?
Oh, the band names are great. Okay. The bands suck. Okay. I was able to get through like 2 songs of each band before I said enough is enough. So let's start with the first one. The name of the band is Wreck Small Speakers on Expensive Stereos.
I feel like
Still
they're
trying
as
to figure out what the
advertised.
hell that means.
I think they're as advertised. Wrecking small speakers on expensive stereos, and they suck, so it works.
Well, it's experimental rock or rec rock. It's was only around between 1980 and 1986. They're a duo out of New Zealand. It was quite weird. It was mostly done studio because I don't think they could do it live. There's no drummer. It's basically it sounds like 3 guitars and a piano is what it sounds like. But it's terrible. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the genre. And I was trying to use an open mind. It was just bad, you know. For those out there that really want to listen to a bad group, this is the one you should do. Mark, back to you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because what's one man's compost heap is another man's potpourri. And this album I'm showing behind here called River Falling Love has 9 tracks on it. This is called art rock, avant-garde, indie rock. And there is a rating of 4 stars from someone. So I might have to, this is
Out of what,
1993. This is alternative-ish times. So.
Mark, I
And this
dare
is-
you.
Hey, listen, they needed a cleaning cleansing afterwards because they're on Ajax Records.
Yeah, they did something. Oh, okay.
I just saw fireworks outside my window, and for a second I thought it was the holy shits because I damn near declared them.
We'll get back to, it's me, right? Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with The Who.
Oh, I know them.
The Who? No, not the HWO. The Who. The Who? HU.
I do also know them. though.
Mongolian band. That's what you need. You need some Mongolian metal, folk metal. And let me tell you, these guys can play. Absolutely. When it comes to albums, there's not as many, but I was listening to 2022's Rumble of Thunder. I truly appreciate the old school instrumental feel. It's that's not a violin. It's probably an instrument that I'm not familiar with from the continent, but it works so well when utilized. It has that whining tension in the background over the guitar and drum. and the Mongolian snarly lyrical melodies are fantastic. Like again, that sound of that violin gives like a synth. If you like Rammstein, there's definitely something here for you. I think the production has a lot in common with, it's gonna sound crazy, but Def Leppard. There's that Mutt Lang kind of feel to the production, and the one vocal like harmony kind of gives me that Def Leppard kind of feel. So my first one is The Who, or The Who. But these are some mean gentlemen who play some wicked looking instruments, and they probably look damn good doing it.
Their first single, I think, hit the charts, Juve Juve You, was with the band From Ashes to New, which is in my little metalcore type octane Sirius XM genre that I like to listen to. And then I know they did a good little non-album single covering Sad But True.
Okay.
And I could see them
they
doing.
they do like to yell "Hugh," or there's like a chant thing that happens, like your AC/DC-ish kind of thing. But yeah,
Yep.
they got the glam of it all in
They also
Mongolia.
did it. They also did a song called "Song of Women" with Lizzie Hale.
Really? That I didn't know.
Yep.
I
think they've worked
smart.
with Serge Tankian too as well. Yeah, they have a good
Oh
repertoire.
well, I won't hold that against him. If Serge isn't in that band, Serge by himself is a little hard to take.
What did you say? Whining something?
Whining tension.
You know, you either have it or you don't.
Oh,
Over
God.
to you, Alex.
So I've never understood these band names. This was kind of inspired by Mark the other week when he did Portugal the Man in a past episode. So I decided for my last two on thes, we were going blank the blank. And so for this one, I decided to do first of these is Young the Giant, a band that I've always liked throughout their catalog from the beginning. I've enjoyed their earliest albums, their self-titled, down to personally, I think Home of the Strange is probably my favorite of the set of five. So band that's been around since at least 2004, and I definitely would say that this is a popular one amongst people. But they get a little forgotten, and then they kind of trickle through the back ways a little bit. So if you haven't listened to them in a while, or you're not sure if you have, give them a go.
Kind of music?
Pretty alternative. I'd say alternative rock, indie rock. Got a little pop sound to them too as well.
Okay, because looking at them, I had this pop yacht rock thing going on. I don't remember if I've heard an album or not, to be honest.
I'd say it's less rock, it's more pop alternative. Like they have that bopping sound to them that can just get you bouncing as you listen to them, and they're a fun band in that sense. So they definitely improv in their live shows. I'm kind of bummed out I missed them this year. They were playing at Art Park with the new guy who sings Runaway to Mars, Talk. And I wish I would have caught him.
All right. And this is all I have. Jeff, to you.
So this one is Passengers. They have one album, and it's a side project from U2. It consists of all the band members of U2 and Brian Eno. When they were, it's basically original. They call it original soundtracks as a tribute to their favorite film soundtracks. It was in 1995, but they thought of doing a side project, doing something different in 1993 when they were putting together Zooropa. And so they decided to write some music outside of their usual repertoire, I guess. So it's basically an album of imaginary film soundtracks. So it actually included Italian tenor Luciano Pavarotti on one of the tracks called Miss Sarajevo. And it was pretty experimental featuring different collaborations. And in their liner note, basically just a bunch of inside jokes. And the music was really nothing like any of U2's previous stuff from what I read. So it actually kind of alienated a lot of their fans, and the project basically flopped. And all the involved parties kind of went their separate ways after a few live performances. And it was retired for good after that.
Yeah, I thought I had it, but I guess I don't. Thought I had it. I can picture the cover. I can picture the cover now. Yeah, I was looking for band names, not the album name.
So that's kind of my theme, as you can see, alias band name.
Yes, yes. It's all becoming very clear now.
That's the drug.
Sue! Well,
What's that?
someday.
So my next one is called Babes in Toyland, named after the movie musical, which apparently was a favorite of the band's drummer, Lloyd Barbero. And they formed in 1987. Into the 90s, they kind of became an alternative to Persuasion. A lot of comparisons to Hole, and I don't remember this, but apparently there was like kind of a battle between the two bands, which I guess helped them because it, gave them a little bit of publicity. But listening to it, it totally brought me back, and I get the similarities to Hole. They started out as a 4-member band, and they wound up being a trio when the lead vocalist left, and kind of got like an underground punk label. I'd say they're like gritty, grungy, guttural, edgy. They stuck around until 2001. And again, the names of their songs, I'm not really going to go into detail, but some of them are Dust Cake Boy, Mother, I Like Mother, Handsome and Gretel. And they actually toured with Rage Against the Machine. So that kind of gives you an idea of their sound and their feel. And I would say they would have been a good opening band. So kind of cool.
To tour with Rage, that was probably during their start, right?
I think it was earlier on, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
But I'll probably give it more of a listen.
Yeah, I can't say that I've listened to that, and I like Hole, so I'll give it a shot, especially if there's a cat fight. Woo!
There's no cat fight.
Ah, well, between the two bands, apparently.
In a giant mud pit.
In a giant mud pit. Chef Free.
Yep. Okay, another barn burner here. This singer-songwriter is based in Paris, and even though it sounds like a band on the record, it's one guy. His name is Morgan Cassis, and he wanted a name that he could put on the billboard and would take up most of the billboard. So the name of this band is Flowers from the Man Who Shot Your Cousin and Others.
No.
That is incredible of a
It
find.
is. It's so incredibly incredibly wrong, because if he's thinking, I want it so that it on the placard, it has my whole thing. Well, if you're the opening act, it's not happening.
Or you're the opening act and they already put you on there first and then him.
It's like,
Anyway, he's been around since about 2008. Hasn't done too much stuff. He, I guess, does still a lot of local establishments all over Paris, where he's based out of. He does all his recording out of Paris. He's had one album that had some acclaim to it called Hapless. The genre is like indie, alternative rock, alternative country. It's really mixed up. This
Pick
guy,
one, geez.
I think this guy may be multiple personalities.
Well, he did shoot your cousin and others.
So, yeah, so, as I said, I listened to it for a couple songs and said, no, thank you. It's just not my thing. But, as I said, I was going through this, today I was going through really interesting names. I really didn't care about the quality of the band. Mark,
Yeah.
up to you, or back to you, something.
Up to me over. Hey, I'm here. So, why would you even name your band Cattle Decapitation? Why? Why?
You want to
First of
butcher
all-
stuff.
First of all, PETA's upset. All right. Now you're gonna get nobody from PETA checking your band out at all, right?
Makes you wonder which ones were already taken.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So now we're full board off the reservation of glowing examples of truly remarkable band names. And the name does coincide with the remarkable match of this band name. The minute you're thinking Cattle Decapitation, you're thinking these guys are going to saw your face off with their guitar, drum, and the lyrics. If you can even come close to understanding what is being shredded out of this guy's mouth. I don't. So just to give you an idea, their debut album was called Human Jerky. This is 1999. They made no apologies for what it was to be unleashed to what is now fairly large following. It's been over 24 years now. This band is severely popular in the shredding metal community, but possibly it's misunderstood by the vile covers and nature of the death grind they bring. But in reality, they're a protest band of truly massive proportions. Carbon Stampede, Grizzle Liquor, Lips and Assholes are just a few of the tracks listings from this band, 7 albums, and now their next one, which just released a few weeks ago, called Parasitic Adaptation.
Sue, even
This
the
band-
darkness can't hide your head shaking over there.
This band is a vegan band, and they do not like you
That
eating
explains
meat.
it.
They weren't
They have an album cover of a cow shitting out a human being.
Cattle Decapitation. Clearly, they were not happy with settling for just cow tipping.
Yes.
So that's not a Chick-fil-A billboard? That's definitely not. a
No, it
Chick-fil-A.
is not. It is not.
It's the cow
Um,
holding the "Eat More Chicken" sign.
There's really there is there's no denying their passion and their technical mastery of grind metal.
I
Hell,
recommend
you-
them for Music Bites.
Yeah.
Good call.
I
Uh,
want to see what Sheffrey comes up to with this one.
yes. From the album Humanure. And we'll start the meal off with some nice oxtail. Why? Because everyone likes a nice piece of ass. So anyway, mine is Cattle Decapitation. And if you are a grind metal lover, you already know who they are. You don't need me telling you. I do think it has its place. Some of it is masterful, but I can't understand a thing he's screaming. If he's even screaming, that's talking. But they are on every major metal tour. Oh, just to the band and to any band out there. Okay. I know I'm just the guy who buys this stuff or listens to this stuff, but please, when you make your name, I don't care how bad it is or how obliterating it is, but can you please fix the font so I can read it? Anyway, I digress.
I think he's off a soapbox now. So I'll
Can't
go.
read it.
So I'll go to a basic on the blanks. Foster the people. Now, I did not realize this band has not done a thing lately. I did not realize that there's only one original member to the band, and it's Foster. Everyone else has left.
Foster
Reasons
lost
of-
the people.
exactly. He
Aw.
the last remaining member of the band that wasn't him left to focus on raising his daughter. Pretty much in 2021 dissolved all of this, which is a shame because another alternative band that made the rounds and had some good licks out there. I don't know how to pronounce the Canadian DJ. I think it's Dead Mouse, but it's okay.
Well, they call him Dead Mouse.
Yeah, Dead Mouse
I know.
5 is what I'm reading. So I've seen it. I've just never had to say it before in my life.
DJ names are the craziest out there.
Isn't that guy still involved in a lawsuit with Disney?
Maybe I didn't even know he was
Was
in
that
one.
Danger Mouse?
Who isn't?
But I guess the band had released a new single with him that had been in the works since 2016 just to get it out in 2021. So that's something I learned from this process of just kind of seeing where they're at again. I mean, hell, everyone knows Pumped Up Kicks. And I think once you start diving into some of the rest of their catalog, I always started to form a liking for them and started to add more and more to my library of hearing them, whether it was popular singles or not. And so, yeah, I was kind of surprised to hear that they're not going still because they were pretty damn good. They had it.
And that is why when we have our panelist show, you're always wrong.
Right
Every
over
time
my
I hear
head.
the Pumped Up Kicks, I'm out. I'm out.
I'm
gotta
not a fan. I'm not a fan of the song, that song itself, but that's the one that everybody knows by them.
I like that song. What's wrong with that
Oh,
song?
I start whistling it,
Mhm.
and then that's when I just go, stop.
How many albums, Alex? Did you know?
Albums themselves, or how many
Yeah.
did they come out with?
Yeah, how many albums did they?
They only ever came out with 3.
Okay, and since what year?
I think they got together as a band in 2009, but
Okay.
the albums themselves were in 11, 14, and 17.
Okay. Jeff Young, to you.
Alex might know this one. Foxborough Hot Tubs, formed in 2007. Their only album is Stop, Drop, and Roll, which was released actually in 2008. And it's the alias used to book secret shows for Green Day. And it actually has all the band members of Green Day and a couple other people, and one from another band called Prima Donna. But Foxborough Hot Tub it's a housing development actually located in California, and it was a place where the band Green Day said they used to sneak booze and sometimes chicks into late at night, but they said usually it's mostly just them hanging out. When they perform as Foxborough Hot Tubs, Billy Joe Armstrong and Jason White go by different names, such as Reverend Strychnine, Twitch, and Frosco Lee. They actually made a television debut on Last Call with Carson Daly.
Carson Daly.
Hmm.
Well, there was a whole week dedicated to Green Day, with them performing at the end of every show in 2009. And Green Day played on they played on the 19th, but during the performance they played Stop, Drop, and Roll and Mother Mary, which was from that album, bringing them together. But yeah, so another
this-
alias band.
Was this before the big successful record American?
I mean, it's 2008, so I don't know the
2008?
discography well enough to know.
American Idiot? American...
I want to say American Idiot came out.
I mean, Dookie was pretty big too.
Yeah, and that was well before, for sure.
You gotta make this.
I mean, Dookie had to be like
That was in the mid to early 90s.
96, 97.
Okay, so 2004 is American Idiot. So
Oh wow, that was older than I thought.
Yep. So that was about the next record out. So That's 21st
Oh,
Century Breakdown.
Where's the one what's the one with the hand grenade on it?
Well, that's the one, that's American Idiot, but it's 2004.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So somewhere between 21st Century Breakdown and the triple X ones where they had the 3 albums. Uno, dos, tres, right? Something
Mhm.
like that. Cool. Good pick.
That was
Good pick.
great set.
Sue.
So my last one is Atomic Kitten. An English girl group formed in Liverpool in 1998. And they were founded, well, it's kind of confusing actually, but they're founded by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark members Andy McCluskey and what's happening? What?
That was on our last episode.
It was?
Yep.
Oh.
Good
Well,
tie-in.
And Stuart Kershaw, who served as principal songwriters in their early years. And if you check out their videos, I'm sure you gentlemen will enjoy them. But they honestly, it looked like triplets. They look like they're having fun. It's I don't know how you describe it really. It's just pop, fun, sing-songy. I kind of chose them because they did a remake of the Bangles' Eternal Flame, which I love. I think they do a few covers actually on different, they have a few different albums. The Tide is High, originally by the Paragons, I believe. They do another song, Whole Again, which was good, but it's just a fun little band. A far cry from the other 2 punk rock, indie alternative grunge girl bands. So yeah, kind of cool. I would listen to it. I think, no, I'm thinking of a different band, but yeah. Good little summer band.
There you go. That's probably where.
And I
It's a
can say
British-
I can say all of their song titles. They're all appropriate.
Oh, well, it's about time. You made it a little bit cleaner.
Mhm.
Jeffrey.
Okay, my last one today. I found the name of it, and it took me like 3 days to get information on this one. So
Appreciate your effort.
Yeah.
it was pretty bad there. So it was released in 2002. It's the band's only album, and the only time they at least together did stuff. The name of the album and the name of the group is The First Person to See an Elephant. It consists of one English dude and a couple Americans, Doug Keith, Mark Osperat, Mike Naparino, and Rachel Finn. Very, very muddy record. It's I don't know if it's muddy because they tried to get that effect or if they're using a real cheap studio. It's hard to say. But they have 13 songs in their opening and only album. Basically, folk rock, post rock, a little experimental. Very strong alternative. Did I like it? Absolutely not. Would I listen to it again? Absolutely not. Would I recommend it to anybody out there? Absolutely not. So it's been a day of goose eggs.
Mhm.
So, but I was going for the name of the band, not their quality.
Right.
Mark?
Doug Keith actually has he's got some play in him. He was on Colbert with Sharon Van Etten and Nora Jones. So he must have a window into that environment and have the talent. Sometimes people are just better with other people than on their own. But I'll have to give it a listen. I didn't give it a listen. I did struggle like you when you gave me the band name to find a good enough picture, and that's Doug Keith right there. So
Yeah, there's very little information on it.
yeah. All right. Well, I guess it's me now, right?
To close the show.
So I'm going to close the show with
The second person to see an elephant. Oh no.
a Tony Danza tap dance extravaganza. That's right. From Louisiana. Oh, wait. You're not really going to hit play, are you? Oh, shit. This band is off the mathcore. All right. So what is mathcore? Just so you understand.
I think
It's
I
a-
failed that a few times in high school.
Is a subgenre of hardcore punk and metalcore influenced by post-hardcore, extreme metal, and math rock that developed during the 1990s. Bands in the genre emphasize complex and fluctuant rhythms through the use of irregular time signatures, polymeters, syncopations, and tempo changes. What does that mean? I have no idea. Ask Rick Beato. All right. I don't know. All I know is this is your metal, this is your growl, this is your rock, heavy stuff. And they seem to understand the time and the rhythm that they're doing, and it has it's calculated, I would say. That would be a better definition if you want it. So this band is obviously spoofing and having a ridiculous time doing it. As a matter of fact, if you're of our age, which most of us are, they even spoofed their names of their album because their second album was called Danza 2 Electric Boogaloo. And people might remember the breakdancing movie Electric Boogaloo. The album name is a parody, obviously, of Danzig record 2, actually, which was Lucifuge, as well as the 1980s film Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. The album features short, humorous skits on top of the music going through it too as well. And this group has toured with Cattle Decapitation. So I'm tying it all back. So Tony Danza tap dance extravaganza.
Now that's a marquee I would love to see.
That'd be hilarious.
with
if
that other
tour
one
bus
right
looked-
underneath it. What'd you say, Jeff?
That'd be hilarious if their tour bus looked like one of those cattle trailers.
That'd be cool.
No, they put
Well-
their equipment in one of the cattle trailers and they're all up in the actual vehicle.
Yes,
I
nothing
hope
but
so.
the front trailer has kale in it and beets and
Mhm.
cheese
Is that
of every
Gibson?
kind.
Is that a Gibson Les Paul sitting on that hay in the back?
So I want to thank my panelists for doing this. This was a fun show. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. Until then, we're beyondyourradio.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, though, just so you know, I only post the show releases and the articles. So please check those out because we do have a new Music Bites with Rhythm of the Saints by Sheffrey. It was excellent. And we just posted as well our YouTube show where I did the Canada Day and US stuff. So on Unknown Sunday. Thank you, everybody, and happy listening.